Good morning students, I am teacher Salunki TV. I welcome all of you in this session of English language. In the last week, we started one of the significant topics from the grammar. The title of the topic is active voice and passive voice. From the three sessions we have been dealing with this topic, active voice and passive voice. Students, in the first session, we discussed what is active voice and what is passive voice. Later on, we discussed the concept of subject. I mean, how to identify the subject from the given active voice. And once you understand, once you recognize the subject from the given sentence, then you are able to swap that particular subject at the end of the passive voice. Okay. After, we also discussed the pronouns, because pronouns play very vital role in this process of transformation from active voice to passive voice. In the previous session, we discussed how to convert the nominative case of pronoun into objective case of pronoun. And also we discussed how to convert objective case into nominative case while converting the active voice into passive voice. Students, when we deal with this topic, active voice and passive voice, we also need to understand different kinds of helping verbs like am, is, are, was, were, have, has, had, and so on, because all these helping verbs also play very significant role in this process of transformation from active voice to passive voice. From the previous session, we have been discussing the concept of tense, how the concept of tense works in the process of this transformation. So students, in the previous session I told you there are three major types of tenses: present tense, past tense and future tense. Each major type has 4 subtypes, isn't it? So altogether we have the list of 12 tenses in English language. In the previous session, I explained out of these 12 tenses, we can convert the active voice into passive voice only from 8 tenses. We cannot convert the sentence from present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, future continuous tense and future perfect continuous tense. And if we try to convert the active voice from these 4 tenses, so it is ungrammatical. I told you in the previous session. In the previous session, I also explained how the sentences from simple present tense, present continuous tense and present perfect tense are transformed into passive voice. Students, today we are going to study the second major type of tense, and that is past tense. In the past tense also we have 4 subtypes: simple past tense, past continuous tense and past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense. But as I told you, the last subtype of the past tense, that is past perfect continuous tense. So the sentence from this subtype cannot be transformed from active voice to passive voice. So let us begin with the second major type, past tense, and we are going to discuss one after another the 3 subtypes of the past tense in this session. So let's start with the second major type, past tense. Students, let us look at this table or chart. This chart has the sentences from 3 subtypes of the past tense. These subtypes are simple past tense, past continuous tense and past perfect tense. So Now we are discussing the three subtypes of the past tense. So in the chart we have 4 columns, significant 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the second column there are the sentences from active voice, and then we have solved the sentences or transformed into passive voice. So I will explain how can the sentence from active voice be transformed into passive voice. So let us begin with the first subtype, that is simple past tense. I read the sentence, the man guided him. Now in this sentence, the man is the subject of this active voice, as it is the doer of the action. It is the performer of the action, and therefore the man is the subject of the active voice. Guided is the second form of the verb, as the sentence is from simple past tense. We have the pattern or structure in simple past tense, subject plus V2 plus object. So guided is second form V2 here, and him is the object. Now we are going to transform this active sentence into passive sentence. So what do we do first? We begin the passive voice with the object from the active voice. So what is the object of the active voice? Him. So we cannot write down this him as it is here in the beginning of the passive voice. In the earlier session also I told you, when we transform active voice into passive voice, the objective case of the pronoun is converted into nominative case of the pronoun. So what is the nominative case of him? He. And therefore we should begin the passive voice with the nominative case he. The sentence is from past tense, and therefore we have selected the helping verb was here. Students, when we select the helping verb, there are two criteria, there are two rules which we must follow while selecting the helping verb. The first rule is identify from which tense the sentence is. As we know that the sentence is from simple past tense, this is the first criteria, and the second criteria is identify the singularity and plurality of the object, isn't it? So as he is the singular pronoun and the sentence is from simple past tense, we have selected the helping verb was here. Then we have used third form of the verb, past participle of the verb guided, then by preposition. And at the end of the passive voice, we swap this subject from the active voice at the end of the passive voice, the man. So the man is the subject from active voice. It has to be written at the end of the passive voice. So this is how we have converted the active voice into passive voice. The answer is he was guided by the man. In the same way, I have transformed this rest of the two sentences into passive voice. So here, second sentence, the man guided them. Here, the object is them. I have converted it into nominative case they, as they is plural, and therefore I have selected the helping verb were and continued as above. Guided is V3 and the subject the man has been swapped shifted at the end of the passive voice. So the sentence in the passive voice will come in this way: they were guided by the man. In the third sentence, the subject is the same, verb is the same, object is different, that is me. So what is the nominative case of the me? I. So when we transform into passive voice, we have to convert this objective case into nominative case. As I is in a singular form, we have selected the helping verb was here and continued as above. So the answer is I was guided by the man. Now let us come to the second subtype of the past tense, past continuous tense. So in the previous session, when we studied present continuous tense, I had told you when we convert the sentence in continuous tense, we have to use the word being in between the helping verb and the past participle form of the verb. So let us look at the first sentence. The man was guiding him. The sentence is from past continuous tense. Subject plus helping verb plus V1 plus ing plus object. Now the object is him. We have converted this objective case into nominative case he. As he is in a singular form and the sentence is from past tense, we have selected the helping verb was here and continued as above. So the answer is he was being guided by the man. In the same way, I have transformed the second and third sentence. I told you them and also about me. They are in their objective cases in this active voice, but when we transform into passive voice, we have to convert them into their nominative case, they and I. As they is a plural pronoun, we have selected were here, and I is a singular pronoun, and therefore we have selected was here. And this is how we get the answers. They were being guided by the man. I was being guided by the man. Now let us come to the third subtype of the past tense, past perfect tense. If you compare, students, if you compare present perfect tense and past perfect tense. So here we have the pattern subject plus had plus V3 and object. So when we transform the sentence from the past perfect tense, we have to make changes as above, but here as in past perfect tense we have to use the helping verb had, and if the subject is or object is singular or plural, we have to maintain the same helping verb in the past perfect tense. But what we studied in the present perfect tense, when the passive sentence begins with the singular object, we have to use has helping verb. And when the sentence begins with the plural object, we have to use the helping verb have. But in the past perfect tense, we have the only one auxiliary verb, and that is had. And therefore, let the object be singular or plural, we need to use the singular helping verb or plural had here in the while converting into passive voice. So let us look at the first sentence. The man had guided him. We have transformed into passive voice in this way. He had been guided by the man. So in the past continuous tense, we have to use the word being because it's continuous tense, and therefore we use being, the word being, between the helping verbs and past participle form. But when we study, when we transform the sentences from past perfect tense, we have to use the word been between the helping verbs and the past participle form of the verb guided. So this is the difference between past continuous tense and past perfect tense, and also the difference between present perfect tense and past perfect tense. So difference lies between present perfect tense and past perfect tense only in the form of the helping verb. We use have and has as per as the singularity and plurality of the object concerned, and the word been is also used in present perfect tense and also in past perfect tense. So this is how the sentences from the subtypes of the past tense, simple past tense, past continuous tense and past perfect tense are converted, transformed from active voice to passive voice. So students, I hope you must have understood the process, the steps, the rules of transforming the active voice into passive voice. So in the next session, I will explain how the sentences from the simple future tense and future perfect tense are transformed into passive voice. I mean, we'll start the future tense in the next session. So students, I conclude my lecture here. I stop here. Thank you.